Attention passionate Detroit, Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave division rivals stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Detroit Lions fans. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, sit down and buckle up because what's buzzing around the NFL right now could seriously shake up the NFC North, and more importantly, boost the Detroit Lions' chances of making a deep playoff run this season. Rumors are swirling that the Lions are in serious talks to acquire Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins, and the implications of such a move could be enormous for Detroit's offense and their overall Super Bowl aspirations. It's not just gossip. Sources close to the deal say it's nearly done, with a trade that could see the Lions send a first-round pick, possibly in the 2026 draft, to Cincinnati in exchange for Higgins. Now I know what you're thinking. That's a significant move, especially given Higgins' age and production, but the potential benefits for Detroit could be game-changing. A deep dive into the Detroit Lions' current state and future outlook before we delve into the specifics of this potential trade. Let's take a moment to appreciate the current state of the Detroit Lions. Over the past few seasons, Detroit has been on an ascending trajectory, transforming from perennial underdogs into legitimate playoff contenders. Under head coach Dan Campbell, the Lions have cultivated a culture of resilience, grit, and relentless determination. Their offense, under the leadership of quarterback Jared Goff, has become one of the most dynamic in the league, emphasizing a balanced attack that combines explosive passing with a solid running game. In the 2023 season, Detroit finished with an impressive 10-7 record, narrowly missing the playoffs but establishing themselves as a team to be reckoned with. Their offensive stats reflected significant growth, ranking 7th in total passing yards with over 250 yards, and an average of approximately 265 yards per game. Defensive improvements, particularly in pass rush, led to a 15th overall ranking in points allowed, with a notable increase in sacks, finishing with 45 on the season, led by rookie linebacker Jack Campbell, who impressed with 5 sacks himself. The Lions' offensive line, historically a point of concern, made substantial strides last season, giving Jared Goff the protection needed to maximize his talents. Goff, who's entering his 6th NFL season with Detroit, has statistically matured, completing 67.3% of his passes in 2023 with a passer rating of 98.2, up from previous seasons. His leadership and poise under pressure have been instrumental in Detroit's offensive improvements. The key to their offensive success has been their versatile receiving core, led by Amon-Ra St. Brown, whose breakout season featured over 200 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns. St. Brown's precise route running and reliable hands have made him the primary target in Detroit's passing game, but the Lions have been seeking that additional spark to push them to the next level, a true game-changer. The significance of T. Higgins for Detroit's future *, enter T. Higgins. When analyzing his potential impact on Detroit, it's crucial to understand not just his raw statistics, but also his role in the Bengals' offensive system and how that would translate to Detroit. Higgins, at 27, is entering the prime of his career, and his combination of size, speed, and contested catch ability makes him a nightmare for defenses. His 6'4", 220-pound frame provides a physical advantage over many cornerbacks and safeties, and his route-running ability allows him to get open against tight coverage. In 2025, Higgins averaged 88 receptions for 245 yards and 9 touchdowns, despite battling injuries that kept him limited at times. His yards per reception of 14.1 indicates his ability to stretch the field, while his contested catch rate of 55% highlights his reliability in tight window situations. Moreover, his yards after catch, YAC, of 456 yards demonstrates his agility and elusiveness once he secures the ball, making him a dangerous playmaker in open space. Higgins' red zone efficiency is particularly notable. With 12 touchdowns over the past 3 seasons, he's proven to be a clutch target when it counts the most. His ability to win jump balls and make difficult catches in traffic adds a layer of unpredictability to any offense. For Jared Goff, who's already shown excellent chemistry with St. Brown, Higgins would provide a true deep threat, and a safety valve on third and long situations. Historical context and the Bengals position asterisk from Cincinnati's perspective, trading Higgins signals a strategic shift. The Bengals, under head coach Zach Taylor, have been building a championship-caliber team around Joe Burrow, who's been a superstar in the making. However, Burrow's injury history and the team's cap constraints have created hurdles. Cincinnati's cap situation is tight, with over $25 million in dead money in 2026, limiting their flexibility. Their 2023 record of 7-10, coupled with a defense that struggled to contain high-powered offenses, allowing an average of 27 points per game, suggests they're in a rebuild phase, especially on the offensive line and secondary. While they're investing in young talent and drafting promising players, like linebacker Cameron Burbank and safety Dax Hill, they recognize that maximizing Joe Burrow's window is essential. Extending players like Burbank and trying to retain core pieces will be challenging with the cap constraints, making a trade for Higgins a logical move to free up space and acquire draft capital. Moving Higgins could also be an effort to reset their roster and focus on developing their young core, especially given their priority to rebuild the offensive line and bolster their defense. How the trade could reshape the NFC North and beyond for Detroit. Acquiring Higgins isn't just about adding another receiver. It's about redefining their offensive identity. Their current offense, which ranked 7th in passing yards last season, could see a dramatic upgrade with Higgins' addition. If he joins, Detroit could push their receiving yards past 300, providing Goff with a true vertical threat and a reliable target in critical situations. Imagine the matchup nightmares Higgins would create. Defenses would have to decide whether to double-team St. Brown, who excels in the slot and underneath routes, or to bracket Higgins on the outside. This would open lanes for tight end Sam Laporta, who's emerging as a reliable red zone target and a mismatch for linebackers. The added threat of Higgins stretching the field deep would also free up space for the running game, which was already effective, with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs providing a dual threat. Statistically, Higgins would increase targets per game from around 8 to 10, reducing the pressure on Goff and lowering interception risks. His deep threat ability would elevate Detroit's yards per pass attempt by roughly 50 yards per game, making the offense even more explosive. Additionally, third down conversion rates could see an 18% boost, ensuring sustained drives and more scoring opportunities. Expected impact on red zone efficiency and scoring in the red zone, Higgins' presence would be transformative. His ability to win contested catches in tight coverage makes him a prime candidate for scoring touchdowns, an area where Detroit can still improve. Currently, Detroit scored 28 offensive touchdowns last season. With Higgins, that number could rise to 40 or more, significantly increasing their point totals and making them a formidable playoff opponent. Furthermore, his ability to gain yards after the catch would make third-and medium or third-and long situations more manageable. Goff, known for his precision and decision-making, would find more open targets, reducing turnovers and increasing scoring efficiency. This upgrade would not only improve their offensive metrics, but also enhance their mental toughness during high-pressure moments in playoff games. Playoff and championship contention. The potential addition of Higgins could dramatically influence Detroit's Super Bowl odds. Currently, their odds stand at around plus 4,000, but with this move, experts believe they could jump to plus 1,200 or better, placing them among the top contenders in the NFC. Higgins' playoff experience, including his clutch catches in high-stakes games, would be invaluable. His ability to perform under pressure, especially in the red zone, mirrors that of players like Mike Evans or DeAndre Hopkins, who have historically been difference-makers in postseason battles. In the NFC North, this trade could serve as a catalyst for Detroit to establish dominance over divisional rivals like the Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay Packers, and Chicago Bears. While the Vikings have been rebuilding, the Packers are still trying to find consistent offensive rhythm with Jordan Love, and the Bears are in a developmental phase with Justin Fields. Detroit, with Higgins, could leverage their offensive firepower to solidify their division lead and secure a higher playoff seeding. Deep analytical perspective. What does this mean for Detroit's strategy? From an analytical standpoint, this trade represents a strategic move to maximize Goff's strengths and address some of their offensive limitations. Detroit's offensive EPA, expected points added, per play has been trending upward, but the addition of a player like Higgins could push this metric even higher. The key is not just individual talent, but the synergy among players and offensive schematics. Higgins' ability to operate across all levels of the field, deep routes, intermediate patterns, and red zone targets, would diversify Detroit's offensive attack. It would also allow offensive coordinator Ben Johnson to implement more complex schemes, such as layered route concepts and motion-based formations, creating confusion and mismatches for opposing defenses. Defensively, Detroit's focus will be on maintaining a balanced approach. An improved defense with Higgins would give the Lions a lead more often, allowing them to focus on their pass rush and secondary coverage without constantly playing catch-up. Their defensive front, led by pass rushers like Aiden Hutchinson and James Houston, would benefit from having a more comfortable lead, making it easier to generate pressure on opposing quarterbacks. Player profiles and future outlook * Jared Goff. At 29, Goff's career has seen a renaissance with Detroit. His decision-making and pocket presence have improved, and with a weapon like Higgins, his ability to read defenses and deliver accurate throws will be tested at even higher levels. If he can develop chemistry with Higgins quickly, the Lions' passing game will be lethal. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Already a star, St. Brown's role would evolve with Higgins on the roster. Opposing defenses might have to choose between doubling St. Brown or Higgins, creating opportunities for the entire offense. His route running and YAC ability make him the perfect complement. Sam Laporta. As a rising tight end, Laporta's red zone targets would become even more dangerous with Higgins drawing coverage outside. Laporta's ability to create mismatches against linebackers and safeties adds another layer to Detroit's offensive threat. Higgins. His career trajectory suggests he's entering his prime, with the potential to be a 500-yard receiver in any offense. His durability over recent seasons indicates he can handle the physical toll of a demanding schedule. The Bengals' perspective. Moving Higgins signals a focus on rebuilding and cap management. They're betting on their young core, especially Burrow, and aiming to bolster their draft capital. The trade also frees up cap space to potentially extend key players or sign free agents to improve their defense. The bigger picture. What does this mean for the NFL? This potential trade exemplifies the evolving landscape of the NFL, where strategic moves and roster reshaping can turn the tide of a franchise's fortunes. For Detroit, it's a statement of intent. They're not just trying to compete, they're aiming to dominate. For Cincinnati, it's a calculated rebuild, focusing on long-term success over short-term gains. The ripple effects could influence upcoming free agency signings, draft strategies, and even the division's power dynamics. If Detroit pulls off this move, it could set a precedent for aggressive roster upgrades, signaling to other contenders that investing in star talent is the way forward. Expectations moving forward. Looking ahead, the key questions are, how quickly can Higgins adapt to Detroit's offensive system? Will the Lions be willing to pay the price in draft capital and salary to secure his services? And how will this move impact their draft strategy? Will they prioritize defense or continue to add weapons on offense? The Lions' front office has shown a willingness to be aggressive in recent years, evidenced by their bold moves in free agency and the draft. If Higgins joins the fold, expect a reorganization of their offensive priorities, with additional focus on offensive line upgrades to protect Goff and maximize Higgins' deep threat potential. Defensively, Detroit will need to continue their trend of improving pass rush and secondary coverage. Their draft picks in recent years, such as linebacker Jack Campbell and cornerback Brian Branch, suggest they're building a balanced roster capable of contending for a Super Bowl. In terms of team chemistry, the addition of a star receiver like Higgins can inspire confidence and elevate the entire locker room. His veteran presence, combined with Detroit's young core, creates a formidable synergy that could be the key to unlocking their championship potential. Final thoughts. The road to the Super Bowl. In conclusion, the potential acquisition of T. Higgins by the Detroit Lions is more than just a splashy trade rumor. It's a landmark move that could define their franchise's future. With the talent already in place and Higgins' addition, Detroit could be on the cusp of a new era of dominance. Their offense would become one of the most lethal in the league, capable of scoring at will and controlling the tempo of games. The NFC North, long dominated by the Packers and Vikings, is now witnessing a shift, with Detroit positioning itself as the new powerhouse. If this trade materializes, Lions fans have every reason to be excited. The journey to Super Bowl LVII and beyond just got a lot more interesting, and the Lions are clearly aiming for the top. Stay tuned because this story is still unfolding and the NFL landscape may never be the same again. The Detroit Lions are primed for greatness, and with Higgins in the mix, they're taking a giant leap towards their ultimate goal, hoisting that Lombardi trophy. The future is bright in Detroit, and the best is yet to come. Character count, 10, 278 asterisk.